It is episode 181. Welcome into the Benches Cleared podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants, who went 6-1 last week.
And I'm Dave, representing the side of the very sad, very depressed Dodgers, who finally taste what the rest of the league tasted, which is defeat. We're not we're not used to it, so you'll have to guide us through it.
I don't know what it's like to lose today. So
not today for you guys, but yeah.
Well, I honestly thought they were going to come back today. I was getting really pissed off because what was it on Wednesday when they were down? I was like, okay, finally they're going to lose. The Braves can't be this bad, which we'll get into.
Oh, you're talking about the Dodgers.
Yes. And then
that's funny.
Yeah, and then I didn't expect them to win, and then Shohei did his walk off, and then today I was right when I saw that they were down 3-1 for a while, right? No, 3-0 for a while.
They were down 1-0 for the majority of the game, and then they gave up a couple more runs, and it became 3-0.
Yeah, so 3-0. I think that's the first time I checked it, and then the next time I checked it, it was 3-2, and I was like, "This is bullshit." I know it's gonna happen. Like, I'm not sure what we're trying here, and then I was shocked. They closed it out. So go Fighting Phils, best team in the NL East, huh?
I mean, that's the way the season goes, right? Like, you're going to have ups and downs and stuff, but it is funny that the Dodgers obviously have so many abundance of riches, but everything seemed to be going wrong. They've been playing sloppy, They couldn't buy a hit, at least in this game particularly.
Oh, okay.
And they still somehow almost managed to pull it off, dude. Like, it's crazy how good this team can be. But they've tasted defeat for the first time. I felt like they deserved it. There's too many base running mistakes. You can't give away free outs like that, especially when you're in the middle of a rally. So and then obviously we'll talk about Andy Pajes later on, but there's some thoughts there.
some thoughty thoughts. But before we're back to regular scheduled show. So staying in order, we should go around the league before we talk about these series, and I guess that means we got to talk about these torpedo bats, these uncircumcised bats. What was your first reaction to them, I guess, and will you be buying one?
No, I'm not going to buy one. I don't care about these torpedo bats. You have to be a good hitter. Like, it's not like they just give you magical powers and all of a sudden you become this great hitter. But
it's not Mike's secret stuff.
I mean, if you got the best hitters in the world, Judge saying, "Hey man, my bat works. Why would I change it?" And you got Ohtani being like, "I'm doing pretty good with what I got. Why would I?" So people made too much of it. I think the Brewers were so bad that they gave people like a little bit of panic with the Yankees. They're like, "Oh my God, look at what these bats are doing." But it's just that the Brewers are bad. So
it's just that Nestor Cortez is trash.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily just make these Yankees Hall of Fame hitters all of a sudden overnight. They still have to make contact. They still have to, hit pitches. But it is funny. It's taking the league, everybody wants it. So, or at least to try it. I saw Max Muncy try it, failed magnificently, and then he went back to his normal bat and he got a hit. So, whatever works for you, I don't have a problem with it at all. You?
No, I do think it's weird. I think it wouldn't be nearly the story that it is if the Yankees didn't do what they did on their opening weekend, or whatever you want to call it. But it seems really gimmicky. It seems kind of weird, and I'm kind of glad that it's coming back to earth. That I feel like it's not going to be as I don't know, used everywhere. Because I saw someone break it down. I was like, dude, my whole bat is a barrel. Like, why would I put the barrel down here and then just kind of at the end of my bat have nothing. It doesn't really make sense. So I do think it helps guys that are getting jammed all the time, but I don't know. I feel like it's just going to be used. It's going to help certain players, and it's not going to help other players. I think it's kind of came on too strong, but it'll come back down to earth.
Yeah, like I think it was Jazz Chisholm said, it's like, it's not like we're trying to get jammed. Like, you
Right.
don't get this bad and all of a sudden try to get, so whatever. I think it's a mental thing. If it helps you, it helps you.
Right.
Makes you feel like you can barrel it up more. Good for you. But I think it's a nothing story.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
hear, I don't know if it was true or not. I did read somewhere that they said that Stanton, when he was using this bat last year, maybe that contributed to the injuries of his elbows. Maybe.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I read that somewhere that because he was using it during the postseason, we just didn't know. It wasn't like
Really? No one
yeah,
noticed.
he no, I mean, I guess nobody really noticed that the bat was a torpedo bat, but they said he used it throughout the postseason. But who knows?
Yeah, Stan's always getting hurt though, so I guess you can't really blame it.
Yeah, he's made out of
on
glass.
that.
He's a monster when he's healthy, but it's one thing after another with that guy.
Yeah. I guess the biggest stories around the league, obviously besides the torpedo bat, is the fact that the Braves are a terrible baseball team. They're currently 1-7 at the moment. Looked like they were gonna actually give the Dodgers their first loss on Wednesday night, and then Shohei happened. I don't know if you want to just include that and just talking about your week or whatever, but I honestly feel like the Braves were maybe the best team in the the National League East. Obviously, it's showing that at least at the moment, the Phillies are better. I mean, I think they were kind of like here, but at the moment, Phillies just taking it, and everyone's doing bad with the Braves right now. So, is it a little bit of, hey, you should be employing Ozuna? It's a little bit of get backs. I don't know, or just first week slump. How are you taking it?
It's 7 games isn't insurmountable. You know what I mean? Like, especially baseball, a lot of stuff happens, but it is crazy to see that they were struggling that bad. Like, they could not get out of their own way. They couldn't hit anything. It was just kind of gave me the vibes of the Giants after that 2021 season, where like they had such a magical season. Everybody played out of their depth. Like, they were overachieving to a certain extent. And then the next year they like came back down to earth and it looked like really bad. So when you look at the Braves lineup and the averages and everything, you're like, what is going on here? Like,
Right.
And that it didn't help that also they had like clubhouse stuff with the whole Profar getting juiced, getting caught.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
We haven't talked about it. We can talk about it now, which is funny. The guy had his best career year ever. A bust prospect had his best year ever. Breaks out a year. What is he, like 30 something? And everybody said it's fine. Like, he was the best left fielder in the league, and it's like, yeah, he figured it out, sure. And then he gets popped. Nobody mentions the fact that he goes in the offseason to work out with Tatis and Tatis Senior.
Ew.
Somebody who got caught as well. Like, that's there's nothing to do with
Coincidence.
Correlation there. But yeah, I mean, that didn't help the Braves. Like, you signed this guy to be your left fielder for 3 years, give him the bag, and then he's gone for what, more than half of the year, and he won't be in the playoff roster. So
that is wild to me that they can take him off the postseason roster.
But then, I've seen people talk about it, and I think it's true. Like, that's all that's going to happen to him. Like, he cheated, he gets his bag. Sure, he's not going to play this year, and maybe he feels bad about it, but that's it. He comes back next year, and he still gets to play like nothing happened. Like, it's like, it's worth it. Guys who are cheating the game, it's worth it for them. So
yeah,
I feel like there's got to be a harsher penalty, or else it may not stop.
I don't know. I feel like that's a half. Well, here's the thing. It's the first time is 80 games. The second time is a full season. And then third time is a lifetime ban. So, I mean, I don't know. They're constantly testing. I feel like the repercussions are are solid because the thing is there's times where you don't know certain things are in just kind of pop up, false positive tests and all that kind of stuff. There's guys who claim their innocence for a really long time, and it's like you kind of want to give the at least one or two more chances before you get a lifetime ban.
Maybe, but it shouldn't get to the second point. It should be like the first one should be kind of harsh, and then there wouldn't be a second time kind of thing, right? So I don't know. I just feel like a guy that couldn't get it together, he gets his bag, and so it was worth it to him to cheat because he finally got his
Right.
bag, and now it's like, okay, don't do it again. He's like, all right, like I already got paid. Like I
We're
promise I
super
won't.
serious this time.
Yeah, we're
Don't
super
do it
serious and
again.
stuff. Like, all right, I won't. Okay, guys, sorry, but so I don't know, but couldn't happen to a greater guy, right? Now
Yeah.
we know all the tantrums he had, versus LA in the playoffs. What was that, road rage? So
Right.
it all makes sense now.
Yeah. The stars are aligning. I mean, just talking about that, the profile and his year at the Padres did make me think about the Jackson Merrill signing. Was that shocking to you that they were able to get that done, or that he signed that much of a hometown discount?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know how to explain it, but like people praise him for taking the discount, right? But they're I don't know. It's like you're helping the owner, right? Like you're helping the team when all that. Like, shouldn't you want him to get his value? Like this, I don't know. I feel like it helps cheap owners, right? When they do stuff like that. Like, I think Jackson Merrill is going to be a perennial all star. Like he's got a great swing. He's got good defense. Like he has it all. He's a star in the making already. And I don't know. I feel like they kind of took advantage of the fact that he loves to play where he's at. Like he generally seems to love it and everything about it. Um, but I feel like he's worth much more than what they gave him, right?
Well, he would be if he was in the open market. He'd be worth way more. But the thing is he wouldn't be a free agent until he's like 27, right? Which I think they bought out. I think he's like 23, if I'm not mistaken, 22, 23.
Yeah.
So they bought out basically all of his prime years all the way to like 32. So yeah, if he would have been a free agent at like 30, or would that be 30, or that be he's 22. It's 6 years of actual play, and he was on the opening day roster, if I'm not mistaken. So 23 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. Yeah, he'd be a free agent at 28. So he would have probably gotten, let's say, like a $200 million contract. So yeah, technically yes, but you're also, I mean, if Cody Bellinger would have gotten a long-term extension after his MVP year, I mean, he would have gotten just like the Jackson Merrill deal for him would have been like, oh man, he's taking a hometown discount. But then again, when he went downhill, everyone would have been like, oh shit, doesn't really look like that great of a deal for us. So
Yeah, I think there is that
it's
that
also
aspect of it.
security.
Like, yeah, there's a risk with young players because you want to lock them up because they look good, but there's also they might teeter off. But yeah, I don't know. You're right. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Logan Webb did the same thing. I think that there's some chatter about them trying to do that with Heliot Ramos because they called him up way too early. And because people were talking about with Heliot Ramos, I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean because I want him to get as much money as he can. But he's 25 this year. So I'm thinking, oh, 24. That means he's not going to be a free agent until like 30. Like, why are they like, why don't they just wait till 30 and then give him, if anything, another 3 or 4 year contract if they still want to keep him around. And it's not really going to be that much of it's not going to be that expensive. But since they called him up in 2022 and his clock started in 2023, he's going to be a free agent, I think, at like either 28 or 29. So where he'll probably get at least a decent amount of bags. So, I mean, it's possible that they could sign him up for a long-term deal and take that discount, it just makes there's so much more room for in the luxury tax where you can sign other players. If they're doing it that way, then I'm all for it. But if they're doing it just to be like, all right, we're only going to sign these players and we're not going to sign anybody else and we're going to pocket the profit, yeah, then you're helping out an owner that's not going to invest in the team. But that's also the risk and reward of it.
And he did take a shot at Juan Soto in his press conference. I don't know if you heard it. He's like,
yes,
he goes, I don't think you can expect to take 700 million and then expect everything to be perfect or something like that. I don't know what the story behind it is, but I know that was a shot of Juan Soto, which is like, he got his bag. Like, it's cool that you don't want to. Good for you that you don't want to, but he got his, man. Like, and he's got a ring. So like, before you come after him, he did it in what was it, his rookie year or something like that?
No, it was
it second or third year or something like that. It was
2019. Yeah.
So like, he's got his ring now. He wanted his bag. He's got it both. So I mean, I don't know what happened in that clubhouse. Maybe something happened because they went downhill. But right. I don't know. I don't get it. Because I also heard that they were trying to the union was trying to stop him from taking the deal because it was such a help to the team, like they thought it was too low. Right. But cool,
yeah. I guess I can understand why the union would want to stop it. But at the same time, if the guy wants to be there and guarantee that he's there, I mean, yes, a player should get his worth. But at the same time, what was the deal worth? $135 million or something like that, or 150 around that range. Like, you have to really work really hard to spend that in a lifetime for you to actually go through that money in a lifetime. Like, that's generational wealth. You're set up for life. Like, I get it. These owners are cheap and the players should get a good cut. I understand that. But like, a couple players taking some technically team-friendly deals, but are still getting paid $150 million over a span of 10 years. It's like, also, how much money do you need?
Yeah, I just think like the same people that get mad that the Dodgers spend so much, they don't have that same energy when it comes to like the Braves getting cheap deals on guys or whatever it is to take advantage of in another way.
Every once in a while, it also doesn't work either. I mean, a lot of people, they talk about the Braves, and yes, 100%, they capitalize on these guys for, wanting to get paid now instead of, betting on themselves. But there's also, if you look in Seattle, that guy Evan White got $100 million deal, and didn't end up to be anything. There are some, obviously the Wander Franco thing, but like there is also sometimes where people get extended early and they just don't pan out to be anything.
That's true, but I don't think this is one of those things. Like,
I don't think so either. I wouldn't put my.
I mean, like, he looks pretty legit. Yeah, but yeah, okay.
I haven't looked at Corbin Carroll how he's been doing lately, but that could technically be one if he has another year like last year.
I think it was mostly health, though. I don't think it was that he was a bust.
100%. I mean, he could have had a health thing. It could have just been, could have also just been a down year. I mean, guys have down years. It is what it is. I mean, at the moment, he's doing pretty good, right? He's got 3 home runs and has almost
he's back OPS, so he's back to being Corbin Carroll.
He's gonna be fine. But if he had a couple more years like he had last year, that could have been a cautionary tale too. But if there was a play, I feel like you can't even do this with you. I want to do this with you, but all the guys on your team are making buku bucks. If you were to pick one guy to lock up long term to one of these deals, who would it be?
They're all locked up. Like, there's not a.
I'm not sure you can do it.
I mean, like, I'm not sure we can do that. I mean, Roki, I guess, but like, you don't even have to. So,
washed.
Yeah, I don't. There's probably it's not a good example with the Dodgers because they got everybody locked up pretty well, and the guys in the minors are, they're going to be on rookie contracts for a while. So,
yeah, and you don't even have any space for them.
Exactly.
Where are you going to put your catching prospect, your number one, Dalton Rushing?
I feel like he's gonna get moved, man. I feel like he's
He's going to have to.
he's gonna have to. Like they brought up Fiducia because Freddie's in the IL, and I doubt he even gets an at bat. Like they're so those at bats go to Barnes. Like that sucks because this kid he has a major league bat. Like he should get a starting gig or a backup role somewhere. And because they have Barnes, like there's just never gonna happen. So if that's not available, Rushing's definitely not gonna get a chance. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a guy in the Dodgers that I'm like, oh yeah, we should lock him up because everybody's pretty much locked up right now. Like they're on good deals.
Yeah, the only thing that I think the Dodgers can really upgrade would maybe be center and left field, which they just paid Conforto to be there for the year for 17 mil. So it's not like they're going to upgrade their left field. They could technically upgrade their center field if they want to trade Rushing for, Luis Robert or fucking, I don't know anybody else, but there's no spot to put guys. Maybe third base if you want to get rid of Muncy.
Let's just become the St. Louis Dodgers and go get Newt Bar from the Cardinals, man.
Is he even good?
He's pretty good, yes.
I know he's a good outfielder. I just don't know if he's legit or not.
He'd become legit in the Dodgers. I just, like I said, Andy Pajes, man. He's first of all, he's not a center fielder, so he's playing out of position most of the time, which is not helpful because his defense and center is not great. But I think that's one spot they could potentially upgrade. Looks like the NL West is going to be a bloodbath this season. Yeah, for 4 teams. Like
that's a bloodbath.
I like how I know, but I like how everybody in their graphics and everything just cuts off Colorado.
You have to.
Like they don't exist, and I'm like, they're still here. Like, but yeah. All good teams, man. The Giants, the Dodgers, obviously, the Padres, who also refuse to lose, and then the D-backs, who are somewhat, they're hanging in there, but they're not as good as the other 3 so far to begin the season.
Yeah, I think they're 4-3 right now, 5-3. So I mean, if you continued on that pace, you would be a very good team.
I mean, you're 5-3 and you're already 2.5 games back.
Yeah,
you had a decent start to the season and you're already 2.5 games back, which is funny because the Padres had they were 6-0 and they still weren't in first place. Like they were still a game back, which is just funny to think about.
I know. I mean, because you guys got those extra 2 games at the beginning of the year that were away games.
That's right.
Away games. They were not away games. All right. They should have been Dodger home games, but I digress. I understand why they did it because they're supposed to be 4 games, I believe, with the Cubs. They're supposed to be a 4-game series, but they split it up 2-2 so they can have 2 in Japan, 2 at Wrigley. I get why they did it. It's just bullshit.
But you're still going to complain.
I'm still going to complain. Thank you. Exactly what I meant to say. Exactly. So, I mean, since we're on the topic of these Dodgers, what happened last week in Dodger Town, Dodgerland, whatever you want to call it?
It just call us the comeback kids, man. These guys refuse to lose. Every time they scored a run was like, we got them right where we want them. And they just kept coming back. Just good performance pitching-wise. Which is funny because out of everybody, Blake Snell is the one that looks human right now. And everybody knows that he starts slow. Right. But even so, he's like, we've won his starts. So, and then, of course, Shohei winning, the walk-off, what was it, 2 nights ago? For his bobblehead, which is crazy. So it just seems like the big moment always finds him, and he always comes through. Like, it just seems that way, even if it's not, even if the stats say otherwise. It just seems like he has so many of those moments that he at least comes through half of the time. And it's just crazy. Like, that's why he gets so much coverage, man. That's why people who are like, well, why do you cover the Dodgers so much? Why do they talk about them? Like, he does it. Well, what everybody thinks they are in their backyard, bottom of the 9th, 3-2, he always comes through. So it's not going to stop. They're going to keep covering these guys like they're the freaking Beatles. But it was 8-0, man, 8-0. So we had a pretty good start, and they beat some pretty good pitchers in it during that streak. They beat a Scooble, and I forgot who the other one was. There was a couple Chris Sale. So like, they faced some good pitching.
Yeah, and I think it just seemed like, I don't know, like when they played Detroit, it was almost like, like I don't know how to how would I describe it? Almost like they knew that they were going to win, and they were kind of just like, oh, what, the Tigers are going to score 2? All right, let's just score 4 really quick. Like, it just seemed so easy and natural. It was so infuriating. Is that a word? Infuriate?
Infuriating?
Am I saying that right?
It's a word. Yeah.
Infuriating?
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Well, I think the best way to describe it is how I've heard it before. The game is just too long for the opposition. Like even tonight, it just felt like the Phillies escaped with the win. Like even though the guy Luzardo was so dominant for the whole, what was it, 6-7 innings, and even then they barely just got by. Like the comeback was on. Like they almost came back. So it just seems like a lot of so far in these 9 games, like the game is too long for the opponent. Eventually, they're going to get to you.
Yeah. I get it. It makes sense.
And this is without Freddie. The big 3 haven't played more than 2 games together yet. Shohei hasn't even started pitching. Like they haven't. It's just it's a lot, but whatever. Everybody can hate, but they're only going to get better.
It's just Big Me, as in Big Wilmer Flores. Talking about Giants, are they good? Is this just a fluke? I don't know, but it looks good. It's not boring anymore. It is. I mean, yeah, obviously they're winning, so it's really easy to say. But even last year, when they were the times that they would get on, like, they win a series, it was always just so boring, even their wins. And now it just seems, even in their one loss, in I guess if you just go from series to series, we're talking about the Reds game in game 1, it was like they were just getting dominated the whole game by Hunter Green. I think they struck him out, like he had like 12 strikeouts, if I'm not mistaken, 10 to 12 strikeouts, and they were getting kind of their ass kicked. And then it almost was just like, at the end, let's just turn it on. Like they got their ass kicked the whole game, but they're starting. I mean, Logan Webb kept him in the game the whole time. And then it was just like, I don't know, turned on. I don't know how else to describe it, but it literally went from like 0 to 100. Like it was almost like a different team. And even in their loss the next day, when Justin Verlander pitched, it was just a lack of.
Who pitched?
Justin Verlander.
Oh, I'm sorry. And they lost that game?
They did lose that game, but he actually pitched well. It was 5 innings, 2 runs at American Small Park. So
good for Grandpa Verlander. Hey, do you happen to know his ERA? I'm just curious.
ERA is about 6.17 at the moment. It's not very good. It's 2 starts, Mr. Dan Clark, or whatever his name is. The guy who's just gargling Dodger ball sack all day.
I was blocked by Dan Clark, man. So I guess if he talks about Dodgers, that's cool. But
that's all he does. Talk about how great the Dodgers are, how much he wants to, lick Trevor Bauer's ball sack, and how the Padres suck. I think he's just playing into
everything was fine up until you said everything was fine up until you said that last part. Damn it. But hey, man, MLB does not tweet enough about the Dodgers. So good on
all
him.
They do is
good on him.
You'll get enough Dodger content.
Shed light on the Dodgers because they don't get enough views.
But okay, so this team is a lot more watchable, not boring. Even in today they completely deserve to lose in their first game against Seattle. Just some sloppy play by Tyler Fitzgerald, which you'll hear about him in a second. And I guess you can't really complain too much about leaving runners in scoring position when you score 8. Like, I feel like at that point that's on your pitching staff. Like, you could leave a million runners on base, but at the same time, when you have the win with a leadoff double in the 9th, and then obviously in the 10th inning you have the Manfred runner on second to begin the inning, and you can't score him in to collect a win. They for sure deserve to lose. I mean, Willie Adames is just the man, even though he's having a slow start. But when he sniffs an RBI, he gets it done. So, but even in Houston, Jordan Hicks was the man. Logan Webb was the man. It was really nice. Landon Root was striking out everyone, and then in the 5th inning, just couldn't get it done. But still won the game. I mean, this is a really exciting time. It looks like they are doing the little things right. They're doing things like giving insurance runs, which it was just, I can't remember the last time the Giants won a game, especially like last year, where they would score, let's say 3, and then the other team would score 2, and then they would score after. Usually they would just hold on. The times they would win, they would just hold on to that 1-run lead till the end of the game. And then the other times when they lost, they would just give up that last run. So it's insane to see. It's insane to see that they have the bases loaded with no outs and they actually score. That's wild. But they did that today. So
let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
They escaped with the win today because MLB has a problem on his hands. These umpires are freaking terrible.
Well, it was. I do want to say there was some bad calls both ways, but I will agree with you. There was a little bit of an assist this win from some umpire. There should have been. Tyler Fitzgerald should not have been on base.
I don't understand how Carlos Vargas, I think the pitcher was. I don't know how he kept the school. I thought he was going to get thrown out because he was literally putting it over to the plate, and it's like nope.
I wouldn't say over the plate. He was painting. He was pitching.
He was painting, but like he wasn't getting.
But that umpire wasn't giving those calls all game, so you also have to look inward a little bit, but at the same time recognize it is unfair. Tyler Fitzgerald shouldn't have been on base. That should have been a strikeout. And yeah, it should have continued. The game should have continued, but
I feel like we were teased with the system in spring training because now we kind of miss it because you see so many misses. Like even when watching the Dodgers game and guys don't get calls, but then you see it on the other side and you're like, oh, we got a call. I'm like, I don't know if I like it because he's going to do the same shit to us. Like it's only a matter of time till he calls that pitch against us or whatever it is. So it's just the bad umpires just stick out.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you could like it if you're a Giants fan, just because you're taking away Patrick Bailey's strong suit. You're taking away his powers at this point.
Yeah, no, I get it if you have a catcher like that on your team, but like some of these calls are like horrendous and they're like right over the plate and they're like, nope. And you're like,
well, I know
that we're not seeing.
Right. There was one really important call that that last pitcher, I forgot what his name was, that didn't get called, the third called strike, because it was so far away from where Cal Raleigh was set. He was set up on the inside, and it was like almost right over the plate, but like kind of in like the top right corner, but like top right corner middle, if that makes sense. Yeah. And he just reached so far over to get it and continued with it. It was like the opposite of framing it. He like framed it out of the zone to where nobody thought it was a strike. You know what I mean? So
those are hard though. Those are hard when you have to reach over and you have to try to frame it. I feel like most of the times you don't get the call even if it's right over the plate because
that's what happened a couple times with him. He was like, I mean, he was in the zone, but wild, if that makes sense. Like he was not pitching to where Cal Raleigh was set up and was kind of getting dinged for it. And that's kind of, in a way, it's kind of his fault because, I mean, your catcher's sitting there. You have to try to hit closer to the target, but at the same time, an umpire should be able to see what's over the plate and what's not over the plate. So
exactly. Well, is it coming over next year? Are they implementing it next year?
I think that's like the rumor, but it's not like
It's not confirmed, right?
it's not confirmed yet. Yeah.
I would hope that they do it because some of these calls, I'm like, but you can't really complain when you're 8-0, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I
yeah, you're
mean,
getting hosed in some calls, but you're still winning. It's when you start losing, you're like, yeah, now these really matter or
you're not
whatever.
8-0. All right, you're 8-1. All right,
Well,
let's come back to reality.
we
You've lost
were
the
eight
game.
and 0, I hadn't complained. I'm only complaining now because we lost.
Right. Did you see what Bryce Harper said about the Dodgers?
Hell yeah, of course, 100% agree with
Of course
Bryce
you do.
Harper.
Of course you do.
It's funny because every time they ask a player, the majority of them like, we don't have a problem with it. It's like
Of
whatever
course
they're built.
not.
None of them do. It's just the fans. So he goes, what did he say? He goes, people are not going to like this, but I have no problem with it doing it. I think you're a loser if you have a problem with it. And I think
Right.
he's true. Like, I think what he's meaning, like, if you're whining about it instead of trying to beat them, then you sound like a loser.
Right. I get it. It makes sense, but also
Future
fuck
Dodger
you guys.
Bryce Harper. Don't worry about it.
Shut up. Have you?
When Freddie's gone, that's our new first baseman.
Oh
Get
my
on it. Book
gosh.
it.
He's signed with the Phillies till he's like 40
It's all right. We'll get him at year 41. Don't worry about it. He'll be a Dodger.
and still hit 30 home runs.
He'll still hit
Oh
30
my
home
gosh.
runs.
Ridiculous. Dave, it's the first time of the year, but I think it's time for studs and duds.
Let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it. Before we hit the music, there's a lot of you guys in here. We appreciate you guys listening. Make sure to troll us in the chat, but also like the video. It helps us a lot, helps us grow. So if you could like it really quick, and we'll play the number one song in the country right now.
It's that time again. It's the start of the dud of the week. It's the start of the dud of the week.
Oh, it feels so good the first time we are here. I'm gonna go first because I just want to talk about this dude, and I kind of really had some, I don't know, reservation. I'm not sure who I was going to pick because Wilmer Flores is just the man and he's on fire, but I feel like Heliot Ramos just has better numbers.
You just have a man crush on Heliot Ramos, though.
I have a man crush on Heliot Ramos. I love the guy.
You know how to protect Bobby Miller, even if he has the duddiest of duds?
Okay.
With Ramos. And that's fine. But stop letting it cloud your judgment and give it to old man Wilmer. The guy deserves it.
I love Wilmer Flores, and I really, really do. But at the same time, I don't think I could give him the stud of the week, even though he's came out with more clutch home runs and more home runs in general. I mean, because all of Heliot Ramos's home runs were clutch home runs too. Only one home run less, but gosh, the OPS and the batting average are a lot different than Wilmer's. So I think I just got to edge it out. And plus, obviously, Heliot Ramos is playing really good defense in left field. He's already accumulated a half a point of WAR in a week. So come on now. Hey now. What you gonna say now? Heliot Ramos, if you're including today, he's hitting 273 with a 955 OPS. 3 home runs on the season, which is the week. I mean, tied Willie Mays for the most extra base hits in a to start a season games in a row. And that's another thing. That's baseball is just so funny with this history or the things that get, I guess, remembered. It's always like extra base hits from a left fielder that's batting from the right side on opening day. Like, I don't know. Maybe we should pay that
the most
attention to
obscure
these
stats that nobody would even care to think about.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, cool.
Just like they were trying to push that with the Dodgers. I know the MLB account loves to just talk about the Dodgers all day.
Hey,
so
Shohei battling a cold, first player battling a cold that goes for 2 for 2 with a stolen bag. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is the best the best start to a season from a team, and I was like, and I'm thinking, wait, didn't we just hear about the Rays started like 13-0 or 14-0 or something just a couple years ago? And then it's like the best start to a year from a World Series champion, and it's like, come on, dude, do we really have to keep track of this stuff?
But that you have to understand a little bit, right? Because it
No,
is the
I
defending
don't.
champion. Yeah, you don't like it because it's the Dodgers, and that's fine. But if it was like the Rangers or whatever, and they had a good start to their season, you're like, hey, maybe this team can actually repeat. They're actually good again, whatever. So it makes sense. Like they're the defending champs. They're not just giving it to them because they're the Dodgers. You know, they probably would, but the point is that they're defending champs. So right now it's warranted. Like you don't think the Eagles are going to get coverage next year? Like this is a good start or the worst start?
Not
or
as much as the
mediocre
Dodgers
start?
get coverage in Major League Baseball. No, not even close.
I'm just saying, like the defending champions will get a certain amount of coverage, and
I get it,
I'm just saying.
but I
know
don't
the
get it.
Dodgers are on a whole nother level. I completely get that, but that's not something to be mad about. Like, oh, because it's a defending champion start. It's a good start.
I will get mad about it. I will. I don't care.
Are you done with your man love for Heliot Ramos?
I'm not. It's 3 down, 27 to go. He's gonna break the 30 home run curse. But who's your stud, Dave? Let's hear it.
So you go with Heliot Ramos. I'm gonna go with the one and only, the guy that everybody didn't seem to think it was a big deal when we got him at the deadline last year, and I was one that was like, that's gonna be one of the. We need players like that on your lineup. Tommy Tanks, dude. And he has more home runs than Shohei right now, doesn't he? He has 5 home runs. So home run leader for the Dodgers, Tommy Tanks. This guy is awesome, dude. He plays Gold Glove defense. He can play it in center. He can play it at second. He literally won us the game. I know Shohei, no, who was it? Mookie got the big hit at the end, but it was definitely Tommy Tanks saving that game versus the Tigers, man. 3 defensive awesome plays in a row, culminating in that tag at home plate from Austin Barnes. And then he brought us back today. We almost came back. He had a home run in the 9th. So Tommy Tanks, man, the smallest guy in the field. Is he smaller than Mookie, or is he? I'm not sure, question. But I'm going to say the smallest guy, one of the smallest guys on the field with the big bop. And I'm so glad he's a Dodger. So yeah, give him his roses.
Well, I think that it's only just a click away to find out. You ready? Tommy Edman is, drumroll please, 5'9". I don't know if that's true.
Yes.
But it says 5'9". No. But what I'm saying is he might be lying. So.
I'm sorry. You're talking about his height. I'm looking at his home runs and RBIs. 5 home runs and 9 RBIs.
You said bigger. You said bigger than Mookie Betts.
I know, but I thought you were looking at his stats for some reason. So yeah, he has 5.
There's no way this is true because tiny Tommy Edman and short King Mookie Betts are 5'10". Tommy Edman's 5'9", but it also says Kike Hernandez is 5'10". Max Muncy's 5'10". I don't know about that.
You think they're smaller?
They're not the same height.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't
see it.
Need to see if
I don't see it.
We'll find out. But anyways, regardless, the stud of the week goes to Tommy Edman and his power and his defense. And I would love for them to keep him at second base. I really hope they don't put him back out in center field because I think his defense at second is just amazing. So hopefully he sticks there, but we'll see.
Who's going to play center field then?
Well, for now it's Baez, but I'm saying if they decide to bring up Kim and then you move Edman to center field, but yeah. Hey, right. Kim looks good in the minors, but then again, everybody looks good in the minors. So,
I would love it if, I guess put Baez in center field, especially when the Giants are in town. Hopefully they can just get things to the outfield and watch everything drop. My dud of the week is going to one Tyler Fitzgerald. There was a couple guys I could have given it to. Obviously could have went Grandpa Verlander. Obviously could have went Patrick Bailey. Could even want Willie Adamas, but he had the walk-off hit today. I gotta go. I gotta go Tyler Fitzgerald because this is a really interesting case. He had two pretty big errors this today that could have cost the game. That should have cost the game. But man, I don't know how much of a leash they're going to give him because last year was great, and sophomore slumps are a real thing. And when you got guys like Casey Smith and a newly acquired Christian Koss, who was someone that you really liked in spring training, I don't know how much run you're going to give for Tyler Fitzgerald to let him just kind of do his thing. I mean, you got someone like Casey Smith, who is, big time prospect and defensive wizard and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. That's something that we're going to have to kind of look at to see what's going to happen over these next couple weeks. But what he's doing is just not cutting it. 190 for 500 OPS. I mean, he's swiping bags, but not hitting for power. We will see. So, Tyler Fitzgerald, come on, be better.
Let me raise you. I see your Tyler Fitzgerald, and let me raise you an Andy Pajes. And now we have to talk about Andy Pajes because I defended him last year for most of the season when people were saying, he can't play center, all this. And I'm like, look, he's missed a year. Let's let him get back. And then he, to his credit, he had a couple of games in the postseason. He had a couple home runs. He looked good. It was okay. But this year, I don't know what happened. He's not hitting. He has 3 hits all season so far. He has no home runs. He has no RBIs. He has no stolen bases. He's had a couple mishaps already in center field. They're catchable balls. It's not like I'm asking him to make, amazing plays. That would be awesome if he did. But some of these plays seem like they're catchable. And then just inexcusable base running blunders. On a comebacker, you're stuck halfway between home and third. Why? It's less than there's less than 1 out or less than 2 outs. I'm sorry. Like, what are you doing? Today he gets caught in a pickoff. It's just, and it's not the first time. It's last year he had blunders as well. Even this year when he missed the sign from Gino Ebel and he just made it to third, or he just made it home. Like, what are you doing? Like, one of the worst base runners we've seen in a minute out there, and I'm rooting for him because I hope he figures it out. But I mean, because there's no other, I don't know what the other option would be. James Outman has fallen off a cliff, and he's Andy Pajes from the other side, except that he can play defense. So you bring him up, and you have no bat, you have some defense. So I don't know what the answer is. You move Tommy Edman, who's plays second, because Chris Taylor is not hitting. Miguel Rojas isn't hitting. So. And, you can only play Kike in one position with Freddie out. So it's not like he can play second, and you shouldn't have these bench players play every day either. So he needs to figure it out. He needs to figure it out quick. I don't know if they're as worried as the fans are. I mean, it's so early in the season, but he's making a lot of mistakes out there. And that's not something you can overlook. Like if he was just missing a ball because he's trying hard and he's just not catching it, that's one thing. You see the effort, but it's just these mental mistakes on the bags. Like I don't get it. And it's like it's been happening years past. So I don't know. So he's definitely the dud of the week. I hope this is his only week. I hope he figures it out because I'm still rooting for the guy. I hope he figures it out. We've seen what he can do with the bat. Obviously, it's not there right now, but hopefully he figures it out.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I think the only weakness of this Dodgers team is this outfield defense. I'm not sure how Mookie is looking at short. I've not watched a full game, so maybe you could enlighten us there. But
well, it was funny because they had the first 7 games, I believe, they hadn't made an error. And Mookie looked pretty good. He's just making the routine plays. Today he made a really fantastic play, a double play with Edman. But there was an error. It was a weird error. He missed it, couldn't get it out of his glove. Then he threw it into right field. So that's his own. I think that's his only error so far. But I think he's looked solid so far.
Yeah, I think it's too early to
Yeah,
really look at.
it's definitely too early to like make a judgment one way or another with all these players.
Yeah, and especially with defensive metrics, I'm not sure if you can even get anything from this little of a sample size. But you know, yeah, nothing's coming up on
And like I said, when when you're winning, it doesn't really matter. You can overlook all these errors and base running blunders and all that, and that's what's happened when you were 8-0. Now you're 8-1, and we'll see how the rest of the road trip goes. But if they keep losing, he keeps making mistakes out there. Pajes, I don't know. Maybe they look at something, they bring somebody else up, but yeah, just a rough week
has he
or a
played
couple of
any
games, not really weak.
sides shortstop this year? Mookie?
No, he's been just a shortstop.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna stick there all year, man. I don't think they're gonna move him.
Yeah, at the moment, it's saying his outs above average looks pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, he's only had one bad error that looked really, looked funny, but everything else, his throws look good.
So, but yeah.
But again, there's still time for him to mess up. That's what you're hoping, but it's not going to happen, man.
Or his range is just bad, So who knows? Who knows? We are kind of pretty much into next week. We've already kind of talked a little bit about the starts of our next week's preview, but it looks like we're obviously going to continue playing the Seattle Mariners for a couple games. And then, and we had a bullpen game against them. We played against a bullpen game. The Mariners had a bullpen game today. So I think they're still going to face Miller then Wu. So this could turn really bad really quick. And then they get to play the Reds at home. So, hopefully for a 4-2 homestand. I would love to just, win both series, but we shall see where that goes.
Who did you guys play before?
It was the Reds and then the Astros. We swept the Astros, won the series against the Reds in the opening series. And then now we're playing the Mariners, and then we're going to play the Reds at home right afterwards. So we're Reds almost back to back. Which is
you can't even say it's a fluke because I don't know what the Astros are yet. The Astros they always seem to be a good team, and you guys play pretty well against them. So
yeah, so I guess the jury's out. The Giants are a good team. You could just say it.
I'm not ready to say that yet. Like we need to get past 20, 25 games, and then we know where everybody's.
So what you're saying is Justin Verlander isn't washed just yet because you don't know.
Not just yet.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. No. It's early in the season. You get to have a couple. I mean, if Snell can have a couple of not so good games.
Oh God, like Snell's the gold standard. Blake Snell sucks. All right, fuck that guy. You can quote me on that. Okay. Who you guys playing next week?
We've got the Nationals, so we got to finish with the Phillies, and then we got the Nationals.
Oh, you got the NL East. Do you think the Braves are going to stay? I guess they're probably not going to be last. I would imagine the Marlins are going to go down. Would you still think the Braves are a playoff team?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot it's going to impact when they get Strider and Acuna. That maybe gives them a little boost and they start playing better baseball. But right now, they don't look so good. They got good pitching. They had good pitching, or at least against us for a little bit. And then, like I said, the game's just too long for them.
Is this true?
Who do we face in April? Let me see. Let me check that.
That's a good point. I mean, the Phillies are probably the second best team in baseball on paper. I would imagine. So
we got Washington after this series, then the Cubs, Colorado. So you can fatten up on some wins in those series. You got Texas. Right. You got Texas, which is they're a good club. But then again, you got Chicago again, and then you got Pittsburgh, Miami. So, I mean, there's a really good chance they could have a really good month in that, but we'll see. Baseball's funny that way. You look at the schedule and you're like, oh, they got an easy schedule, and then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell happened? The Pirates swept us? What the hell just happened?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good time. I mean, at this moment, it's looking like the Dodgers are as advertised. But it's looking like the Giants could, you know, possibly flirt with 90 wins, whether that be, closer to 88 or closer to 90, closer to 87. Um, it's kind of a higher end. Obviously, it's so early, but just the way they look and the way they're playing, I don't know. I feel it.
It's honestly going to be a really good race because you got the D-backs who are obviously a good team. The Giants are playing good baseball, and the Padres are there, man. So everybody said, they didn't spend all this, but they've come out swinging, man. They've come
That
out
was me.
pitching well, swinging. So 4 really good teams in the division, really, really, really good teams. Well, I don't know about the Giants, but the other 3 are really good.
We're a good team, all right? Come on, Ben Verlander says so.
When you
okay?
stop playing the Reds, then we can talk.
We swept the Astros and we just beat. Well, I don't know if the Mariners are good. You know what's so funny? I think one of my things with one of my guesses was that the Mariners are going to win the AL West, and you were like, with what offense? And I was like trying to talk up Jorge Polanco, and Jorge Polanco had a huge freaking home run today, so I almost like did that to myself. So
you're like, I called it, but then you were sad that you called it. So
but then I was sad boy. That's what happened.
It's just who the Mariners are, dude. They're like that almost team. Like they got pitching, and they never get it done.
Yeah.
Either offensive wise, and even when they score, they still lose. Like,
yeah,
know, man. They seem like a really frustrating team, and I'm glad I'm not a fan of that team.
They always say. I mean, I don't know if this is just a Giants thing, but Giants fans are always saying that we're the National League Mariners, where we have like good pitching and we just never score. And our ballparks are pitchers' parks. So
well, we said that last year when you guys faced each other. It's like something's got to give. You guys both have good pitching, but nobody scores. So
yeah, and that was the opposite today. Game 1, the end score was like what was it, 10-9. So don't know what happened there, but I would imagine the next 2 games, hopefully Robbie Ray is on his stuff, and Jordan Hicks is just the man. So hopefully they're going to be low scoring games, at least on one side. So yeah,
we got Roki tomorrow, and I'm hoping for a good bounce back game from him. I hate it that people. Did you see that Jonathan Lucroy and what was the other one? Josh Reddick.
Okay, so I saw they were making noise.
Each other
I didn't
up.
hear I didn't even see what they said. What did they say?
So Jonathan Lucroy was saying that it's not cool for him to have cried, that somebody has to pull him aside and tell him to man up and whatever. And then Josh Reddick was like, "Oh, I'm glad somebody said that." And so, all right.
Josh Reddick,
Josh Reddick and Jonathan Lucroy, of all people, a backup catcher and a cheater. Cool. Okay.
Right.
You guys are whatever. So, but it is true. I guess, everybody's rooting for the kid to fail tomorrow again. So whatever. It's time for him to shut him up and have a good performance.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of like on the fence now, because I want him to do bad in the worst way, because I don't want him to win it all. But it's like you feel bad because he's such a young kid and he's crying, and you just feel like a bully making fun of him. It's just like, I'm just gonna go home.
I mean, every hater is relishing the tears and all that, whatever. But it's a kid coming to a new country, trying to figure it out and wanting to be great, and he's just not there yet. Like, he's not a finished product, so it's gonna take time.
I saw something that his velocity is way down. Are you concerned about that at all? Or because they were saying that he was supposed to have Tommy John like a couple years ago, but avoided it. Do you think that's something that's going to come up in the next year or so, or is that something that's not really?
I don't know. I haven't seen his velocity dip. I thought his velocity was pretty good, but I don't know. I think anybody who's a flamethrower is eventually has the risk of having Tommy John, regardless. Like, it just it's just a common thing now. So who knows if he had a scare already? But I think it was when he was much younger, though. I think it was when he came out of high school or something like that. Was a report. But I mean, it's everybody's at risk. If you're a flamethrower, you're going to be at risk for Tommy
Yeah.
John at some point. So
Yeah,
it surprised me.
they say is like when you're going to get your Tommy John if you're a flamethrower.
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
Nowadays,
Nowadays, it's like something you have to do. It just happens. So we'll see.
normally the Dodgers aren't 2-1 in the last 3. They're 0-1 in the last 1. Okay, so
Get
let's
out of
just get that
here.
straight. They're 0-1 in the last 1. All right, so they have the worst record in the last game. So there's
To
always
be
that.
fair, their fielding was pretty good. They had no errors the first 7 games. I think there was a couple errors in the 8th game, and then the last 2 games have looked sloppy for sure. But they had been playing pretty good the first week. I don't think that's fair, and that I think they all ran. I don't know why they were running the way they were today. I don't know what mental lapse they were having, but yeah, the base running was bad today, and well-deserved loss, I think, because it looked bad. Bad decisions, man.
Yeah, the
When you
Giants are
end your own
last.
rally, when you kill your own rally, like
Yeah,
you have like nobody to be mad at but yourself. Like we don't know what could have happened. You killed it, so it was a frustrating loss in that sense, but not because you want to be undefeated the whole season, even though I wish they could, but it's just the way they lost that was kind of frustrating.
yeah. The Giants were the last team to not have an error, but then they had a couple. Well, it says they only had 1 error today, which I feel like is completely false. Maybe they were kind of gifted to not getting into an error, but it was definitely costly today. So that's what happens when the thing is when there are songs made by you guys, it's a bad thing, right? It's like a jinx to you guys. But when MLB decides to tweet about us, that's when things go bad for us. So I'm going to complain about them tweeting about the Dodgers, but just don't tweet about the Giants, so we don't have to get that badness, that jinx in my dojo. You know what I'm saying? Because vibes are high right now, baby. Oh,
For now, this is going to be one of the few times that we'll come on here and you're the happy one, and I'm even though you're sick and battling a cold or whatever it is.
dude, I've been sick for like 4 weeks in a row. I've had the sniffles. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe it's your garage or whatever, but like to be sick for 4 weeks straight, there's something wrong. You might want to get that checked out.
I might
But-
not. We'll see.
And
We'll
maybe
be
that's
fine.
the reason they're winning, because you haven't gotten checked out. You stay sick.
Ah.
I don't know. You get healthy, they start losing. So you got to go back out there in the rain and get sick
Yeah,
or something.
Walk outside, my shoes off.
Yeah, there you go.
Especially
Go
that.
go hang out with the goats, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Um,
love the fact that you have Clayton Kershaw in your backyard. The goat.
No, I have Krug and
That's
Kuiper
pretty
in my
awesome.
backyard. Krug and Kuiper back there hanging out. But yes, thank you guys so much for hanging out. And hanging out in the chat, watching us from wherever you're at. We really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform as well as YouTube. Make sure to like the video, all that good stuff, notification, but all the stuff that makes the algorithm like us. We would really appreciate it. We are, I think, 50, a little bit less than 50 subscribers away from hitting 1,000. So once we hit 1,000, we're gonna have to maybe do some sort of giveaway or something.
Yeah, we'll do something.
We'll figure something out. But get us to 1,000 subscribers and we'll give something away at some point. We'll see. But yes, thank you so much for hanging out. And while you're at it, follow us on all your socials. TikTok, Bench is Cleared. Twitter, Bench is Cleared P, and Instagram, Bench is Cleared Podcast. Dave, I know you got a big long thing to say. What are you gonna say?
Hey man, the new winning streak, the quest for 161-1 begins tomorrow, and Roki will lead the charge.
I don't know.
It is possible. It is possible
No-
that the Dodgers
normally things
end
that the-
tomorrow in second place by the end of the Dodgers end tomorrow at the end of tomorrow in second place by the end of tomorrow.
On that note, we have something to
out.
root for, you guys. Thank you so much. We will see you guys next week.
Sure.
Yes,
Let's
we'll
do
see
it.
you there.